Good morning, class. Today we will start the next topic of the chapter, that is the sexual reproduction in humans. As we have seen, as we have understood what the meaning of sexual reproduction, and we have seen how the plants reproduce sexually, how the plants and how their flowers reproduce sexually, how their flowers help in the formation of the male gamete and the female gamete, and how the fertilization takes place. Similarly, in the sexual reproduction in the humans, also the conditions are same, that two parents are required here. One will be male and one will be female. The gamete formation should be there, and then the fertilization means the fusion of the gamete must be there. Now, how it takes place, we'll see it. We know that if we talk about the two parents, the first condition which is we are saying that two parents are required. So two parents, we know, we can see how are two parents available in the human beings. One is the male and one is the female. If we talk about our parents, then one is our father, that is a male, and one is our mother, that is a female. It means two parents are the male and the female, and the parents are there. It means they will definitely form the gamete, they will definitely produce the gametes. So male will produce the male gamete, that is the sperm, and the female will produce the female gamete, that is the ovum. Now how they produce this sperms and ovum, how they produce these gametes, and how the fertilization takes place between, we need to understand this in detail. As we know that human beings, or the male and females, are the most complex or the complicated organisms on the earth. So they are having different system for their different functions. So similarly, in the human beings, there is a system which is known as the reproductive system, separately present in the male and the female. So we'll understand the reproductive system separately in the male and the female. First, we are starting with the reproductive system in male. In male, the reproductive system consists of two types of organ, the primary organs and the secondary organs. On the primary organs means the organ which is at most essential, or which take part in the formation of the male gamete necessarily, that is the primary organ, and that is the testis. Secondary organs which does not takes part in the formation of the gamete, but they help these primary organ to complete the process, and they are known as the secondary sex organs, and which consist of vas deferens, epididymis, and the accessory glands. Okay, so now we'll start with the primary sex organ, that is the testis. What the testis is, and which kind of testes are present in the human beings, and how they functions. First of all, we'll see the testes are two in number. That's why we are writing it as the testis, two in number, and always the testes are present. Always they are present in a sac-like structure, that is the scrotum or the scrotal sac. This scrotum or the scrotal sac is always present outside the abdominal cavity. Outside the abdominal cavity means the scrotum or the scrotal sac are present outside the body cavity. Why it is essential to present outside the body or outside the abdominal cavity? Why the testes are not present inside the body? Because the testes produce the sperm, and the sperms are the living cells, and these sperm can't survive on the temperature which our body has, on the temperature of 37 degree approximately, which our body has. So these sperms cannot survive on this temperature too. So to make them survive, there is adaptation, that the scrotum or the scrotal sac are present outside the abdominal cavity. So the temperature of scrotum is lesser than abdominal cavity, up to 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius. So if our body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius, so the scrotal sac will have the temperature of about 35 degrees Celsius, and on that temperature the sperms can easily survive. That's why that is present outside the scrotum or the scrotal sac. Now the scrotum or the scrotal sac is attached to abdominal cavity also. How it is attached, we'll see by the structure. If we see that this is the scrotal sac, and inside the scrotal sac, here it is the testis. So these testes, this is the scrotal sac and this is the testis. Now this testis will be connected to this scrotal sac also, and backward side inside the body or the abdominal cavity also. How they are connected? The seed, that these testes are connected to the abdominal cavity with the spermatid cord, a cord-like structure that is known as the spermatid cord. And these spermatid cord are having one canal-like structure that is known as the inguinal canal. So what we can say that the testes are connected to the abdominal cavity through the spermatid cord, and similarly the testes are connected to the scrotum sac also by the gubernaculum. So there are two structures. One is the spermatid cord, which is giving the connection of the testis to the abdominal cavity, and the other one is the gubernaculum, which is giving the connection of the testis to the scrotal sac. This is how the testis is connected. Now, it is not essential that always the testes are present in a male inside the scrotal sac. Sometimes what happens during the IUL? What is the IUL? It is intrauterine life, when the male child or the male baby is present inside the uterus or inside the womb of a mother. Till that time the testis remains inside the abdominal cavity. Inside the abdominal cavity means you can say that the testis not right from the beginning of the right from the formation of uh, the embryo, and then the development of that embryo, not from the that time the testes are present outside the body, but they remain inside the body cavity or the abdominal cavity. But at the time of birth, the testes descend down into the scrotal sac. So as the male child will get the birth, the testes which are present inside the abdominal cavity, they will just descend down to the scrotal sac which is present outside the body cavity. So what happened? This is a natural process, but in some male by default, the testes at the time of birth, they cannot descend down to the scrotal sac, and they remain inside the abdominal cavity. Means the child has taken the birth, but the testis cannot descend down to the scrotal sac, but they remain inside the abdominal cavity. And this condition is known as cryptorchidism. Cryptorchidism is a defect in the male when the testes remain inside the abdominal cavity. If the testes are inside the abdominal cavity, then what will be the effect on the male? We can understand. Means as I told you in the beginning that the testes produce the sperm, and the sperm require the less temperature than the abdominal cavity. And if the testes are present inside the abdominal cavity, so the testis cannot produce the sperm, and if it is producing the sperm but the sperm cannot survive, and if the sperms are not survive, it will produce the male sterility. So these are the symptoms of the cryptorchidism. Now if it is a disease, or you can say it is a defect in the male, so there definitely it will have a solution also. What is the solution of this problem? The solution is known as the orchiopexy. The solution is known as the orchiopexy. What is orchiopexy? As the male child has taken the birth and the doctor see that this child has the testes are not present outside the abdominal cavity, and the testes remain inside the abdominal cavity, then definitely this will cause the effect in this child. So what the doctor will do? The doctor will make a surgery, and with the help of the surgery, the doctor will take out the testes into the scrotum sac or the scrotal sac, and this is how the testis will come or descend down after the surgery. So this process is known as the orchiopexy. Now this is we are talking about the human beings, but other than the human beings, some other animals are also having the testis as the male reproductive organ. So is it necessary that in all the organisms the testis will remain outside the scrotal sac or inside the abdominal cavity? The answer will be no. In some organisms like rat and rabbit, these are the organisms where rat and rabbit, what will happen in these kind of organisms? The testis will remain inside the abdominal cavity, but the testis will remain inside the abdominal cavity, but at the time of breeding, the testis will descend down to the at the time of breeding only the testis will descend down to the scrotal sac, and they will produce the sperm or the male gametes, and then again they will go inside the abdominal cavity. Similarly, some animals are there like the elephant or echidna. These are the animals where the testis always remain inside the abdominal cavity. Means the testis will not come outside the abdominal cavity into the scrotal sac, but they will always remain inside the abdominal cavity, and then they will produce their male gametes from here only. So this was about the basic introduction about the male reproductive system in the different organisms. Now we as we have discussed about that the what the primary sex organ is, and we know that the primary sex organ in the male is the testis, because the testis will only produce the sperms. So in the next class we'll understand, we'll see how the what is the structure of the testis, what is the structure and the functional unit of testis, and how it is producing the sperms inside it, and how the sperm is releasing from the testis and it is reaching to the copulatory organ, and then how the female organs are working. So all these things we'll understand in the next class. Till then, bye bye, have a nice day. Thank you.